So we are going to start the next unit gonna be proportionality. You're gonna learn how to solve proportions, and today we're gonna talk about ratio, and tomorrow we're gonna talk about unit rate and solving proportions. So let's start with the ratio warm-up. There are 4 girls and 6 boys in Mr. Talento class. As you can see, we can have the picture up here. It's a girl, and then these the boys. Fill in the blank below the number of girls to the number of boys. So we have 4 girls and 4 girls and 6 boys. So we can simplify this, right, at 2/3. Number of boys to number of girls. So we have 6 boys over 4 girls. And then we can simplify this at 3/2. Because this is talk about the ratio, the number of girls to the number of boys. So we're not gonna make these look like a fraction, but we're not gonna make these into a mixed number. Okay, next we have number of girls to number of students. So we have 4 girls and we have 4 girls and 6 boys at 10 students. We can simplify it to 2/5. Next we have 6 boys over students will be 10 of them. And then again, I'm going to simplify it to 3/5. Okay, if you had to explain to someone what part of the class was boys and what part was girl, and which of the comparison above you would use and why. So I would say the first one is number of girls to number of boys, and the second one number of boys to the number of girls. These two are part to part. Part to part. And then, so that comparison between the girl to the boy. Now the next one, the next two we have is the comparison of one quantity to the total. So I would say this is part to whole. Okay, it's different with the first one, part to parts. Next one, we're going to start with the note. The definition of ratio will be the comparison between 2 or more quantities of 2 or more. So sometimes we're gonna have more than 2 quantity. Okay. Okay, a ratio can be expressed in 3 ways. And as you can see earlier, we can write it in fraction form. And then also we can using a colon, COLON, or using the word to. So the example of girl and boy, just like the one that we did earlier today. So the fraction form of ratio girl to boy, fraction form will be 4/6 or 2/3. Using a colon will be 2, 2, 3. And then we have 2 girl to 6 boys. Oh, not 6 boy, I'm sorry. It should be 3 boys instead, because we simplified it. Ratio are easier to understand and use when they are in simplest form. So we always have to show your work. Simplest form. And reduce it. So we always simplify your ratio or reduce your ratio. Simplify. Next one. So is the ratio in fraction above actually a fraction? So the answer will be no. And why is this the no? Okay, so if it is fraction, if you call it fraction, it can be part to whole. Okay, so it will be a fraction, part to whole. But sometimes if it is part to part, it is not a fraction. Is not fraction. Okay, so we could turn part to part ratio girls to boy into part to whole ratio fraction by. So what did we do earlier? If you see the whole class, right? So we're gonna put the whole class as the denominator. So I would say whole class for the denominator. Okay, so we have part to whole. It will be, I can say girl, and then the whole will be the whole class always have girl and boys, right? The fraction will be 4 girl over 10 4 girl and 6 boy. And when I simplify it, I have 2 to 5 or 2 over 5. Ratio with different unit cannot be converted into fraction. Give for example of ratio cannot be converted into a fraction. So we're gonna have to have what? I don't know why I crossed it out. Alright, we'll have to continue then. For example, I have $5 over 1 hour. So dollars to hours is one of them. I have 1 desk for 2 students. So these are ratio but cannot be converted into a fraction. So we can have feet to second, and then for example we have I can't think of something else that, for example, mile per hour, do we have that? Yeah, exactly. Mile over hours.